we're gonna get into Boosie. If you know Boosie, they call me Boosie. They call me Badass. If you know him, you know his songs. You know, Wipe Me Down. You know all that. So Boosie has been extremely like public about his. I don't want to
Dislike,
say
distaste.
yeah, I would like I didn't want to say dislike, but I'll say like yes, dislike for the LGBTQ plus community. And his daughter, her name is Poison Ivy, right? Well, I think that's her real name. It might not be her real name, but whatever. Um, she's a lesbian, right? So he's always done these like different videos when he's talked about his daughter and like her sexuality, and he's always like frowned upon it, right? So recently he went on a what was it? He
Caresha
was
Please,
on
no?
yeah, it was a recently on Caresha Please. He claimed he does not allow his daughter's girlfriend to basically come to the home because like their relationship will contaminate his other children, which is crazy within itself. So she recently went on a pod on like an interview with the Danza Project, and she basically disputed this by saying that her girlfriend has visited their house several times and he's never said anything to them or to her. And she's basically calling him a hypocrite because when he's had like parties and stuff like that, like nude bikini parties or whatever stuff, like things like that, there's girls doing like other sexual and intimate stuff with each other. So let me play that her little interview so y'all can see how she worded everything.
Obviously, you've heard the comments that Boosie has said on Caresha, please. And he mentioned how you're always welcome in his home. He doesn't want your girlfriend there. And he called it a contamination is the word he used. Knowing what you're saying about how your mother accepted it and how great it made you feel, I imagine that you hearing something like that killed you.
He tells y'all he don't want my girlfriend around, but he don't tell y'all that she be around. And when she around, he ain't never gonna come to me and say, go take her home. He ain't never once came to me and said that. Another thing is, if he would've came to me and said, "Fat, you know I love you, I respect you, but I just don't want you to bring your girlfriend to my house or around," I would've respected him. But it's my point. You don't never say nothing. I didn't know it was a problem until you went on Caresha Please. I never knew it was a problem. We was just at your topless pool party. I didn't know it was a problem. We was just right there and girls each other out type at your pool party. But I'm contamination. You know what I'm saying? Like he just be talking, bro. And I got so fed up too with this shit to where I'm gonna talk too.
Shayla, I'm gonna let you go first.
I just think that's so disheartening and disappointing because it's like I think we need to stop villainizing people that are a part of the LGBTQ plus community, especially when you use religion as a cover for your hatred. Because I know my God would not be okay with the way you guys bash people that are a part of the community. And also, like as a father, you are getting on a public platform to bash your daughter because if you're bashing the person that she's with, you already know that your daughter is also going to feel offended by it. If you feel a type of way, that's not something you need to be airing out on a podcast episode. You need to be talking to your daughter about this. Mm-hmm. Because you are opening up the door for other people, especially because the type of people that listen to Boosie, right? Like your fan base already probably feels the same way that you do, right? So guess what? You're opening up the door for people to go to your daughter and spew hateful things at her. Like, why? At the end of the day, that is your daughter. All these things that I just think this whole notion of people being so anti-gay is just weird to me.
So I have many thoughts, and I'm hoping that none of them run out of my mind. When I remember when I first heard Boosie talking about his daughter and her sexuality, one of the things I want to mention real quick, he had basically like back in like 2023, he basically faced a lot of backlash for stating that fathers should encourage their sons to be sexually active with women to prevent them from identifying as an LGBTQ plus. And it's like, I wanted to mention that because it's like, What bothers me the most about this, especially when it comes to parents, when kids like come out or like say that they want to transition and stuff like that, I am a firm believer that everyone should live their lives, right? I can instill as much morals and my views and my perspectives or whatever into you, but at the end of the day, you are your own person. You will do what works best for you. You will do what you feel is best for you. You will do what makes you feel comfortable, right? And I think that's where a lot of parents who do have that like negative mindset on like their children being apart, and this is not an excuse. I'm not excusing this behavior at all. I think what it is like people use their own biases and their own like I want to say like hatred to try and fuel other people to think and look like that to motivate them to make certain decisions, right? If your child likes someone of the same sex, what does that have to do with you? And like those people who are overly like hate, like have so much hate to people who are in the LGBTQ plus community, I always ask, like, do you want your like your penis sucked or your coochie licked? Like, I don't understand what you are so mad about. Like, do you have those urges that you hate yourself for? Like, you gotta ask yourself, like those people who literally make like, oh, like you need to go to conversion therapy, you're anti-gay this, anti-gay that. Like, are you like you feeling some type of way? You feeling something?
And to that point, I just think we need to stop villainizing. Like it's a disease if you are gay. There are people here that are, molesting kids, that are committing crimes. And the way you are talking about people for simply just liking the same sex is actually like mind blowing. How some parents bash like their kid could be, a CEO of a company, right? Like top high school graduate or college graduate, the best, they've made it. And the one thing that they consistently bring up is, oh, but you're gay. Sir, there are people that are killing people. Like, and you're worried about me being successful, but I'm married to someone from the same sex. Like, what is
And
wrong
like,
with you?
yeah, it sounds to me like you want a little taste. Like, I don't understand. Like, there, I and the people who choose to like get uncomfortable or like to have all this like negative things to say, it's like, you need to figure out the root of it. There has to be a root of it. Like, if I see two girls kissing in the street, I'm like, go ahead, sis, you got it. If I see two guys kissing in the street, okay, sis, okay, sir, sis, whatever y'all want to be called, you got it. I don't care because it doesn't affect me. Like,
Just mind your business.
mind your business. And like another point that I wanted to make, where I was making earlier, when you put those negative like when you put that negative mindset or those negative words out there in the world to your children, right? You create, and you don't realize, well, not realize, you realize that you're creating a type of self-hatred, right? If I consistently hear that being gay is the devil, is that this is disgusting, this is that, I'm never going to feel comfortable being who I want to be, right? And well, like depends.
Well, that's why it's so important for these people to sometimes you got to cut ties for your own well-being so you don't let that toxicity, hurt your own life, right? Because clearly you already made your decision. You're anti-gay and it sucks, right? Because these are your parents, the one person that you thought it's supposed to be unconditional love. But for your own sake, you have to put yourself first because you have your parents bashing you every chance they get. And you as a parent should be ashamed of yourself. It's okay if you don't accept it, but don't get on a public platform bashing your daughter.
And every chance you get, you bring it up. It's like, dag, sir.
You could just tell your daughter, listen, like, I don't agree with that, but you're still my daughter. So be cordial. But if every chance you get, you're bashing her, that is inappropriate.
If I was the girlfriend, I would never want to be around your father. Like, what? And like, if you want to have a relationship with your father, go ahead, have a relationship with your father. But I do not need to be there because one, you're not about to make me feel uncomfortable every time around. You're not going to tell me that I am contamination as if I'm toxic waste. You're not about to sit there and make my girlfriend feel like, oh, she should feel bad for liking girls, for doing this, for doing that. Like, what? Do you want your PD whacker wet? Like, I don't understand what you so bothered by. It really bothers me because as parents, like Shayla and I talk about this all the time. We are not parents, right? I want to specify this. We are not parents, but we know how we want our children to be raised. We know how we want our children to feel. Okay. The things that I felt when I was younger, I do not want my children to feel. So I will make sure to go out of my way and be conscientious. Conscientious. Wow. Water. I'll make sure to be conscious of how I speak to them, and I'll remember those things that I used to do. And if I find myself making my child feel a way that I felt when I was younger, I'll make sure to express to them, I do not want you to feel like that. And I want you to express to me when you feel like I have made you feel like that, because that's how I want my children to feel. I want my children to have those open communication and open dialogue with me, right? So it's like when I see parents purposely doing things that are pushing their children away and then go and sit there on social media and like talk and talk and talk. And as we get older, social media is just going to get worse. You're going to see all these different people talking about like their kids. Like a prime example, Jada Waita's sister had got on live once and her son was crying. She was like, stop all that screaming. You're not a girl. What does that even mean? Like, then we get
that girls that then turns into men bottling up their emotions. And then when they're older, they don't speak up until they've already blown up. And then it turns into violence, right? Because all their life they've been trained, oh, you can't show emotions. This whole idea of like men shouldn't cry because that makes them less manly. That is just all, especially like it's a child. Like, be for real.
And it's like, you can't expect to have a positive and thriving relationship when all you do is spew negativity towards your child. It's never going to work. And like, to go to Shayla's point, I firmly believe in cutting off friends, family, cats, dogs, goldfish, anything that could have a negative impact on you. I firmly believe cut ties. I believe that as much as it may hurt, as much as you may not, like, you'll be like, wow, I'm going to be lonely. You will find the space, the community, the adoptive family that you will need to find if you put the effort into it. You do not need to keep those type of people around you if all they're going to do is bash you for being you. That doesn't make you you. You
Yeah,
feel less than.
Yeah, sometimes you have to put yourself first. And although you might feel a little bit bad about it, put yourself first, because those people that are spewing hate into your life clearly don't care about you, or they don't care enough that they make you feel the way that they do. So cut it, put yourself first.
And before we move on to our social corner, I just want to say this last thing. For the people who are overtly like disrespectful and have all this such disdain for people within the LGBTQ plus community, ask yourself why. And when you ask yourself why, mention it without mentioning religion. Mention your reasoning without mentioning the Bible, the book, or God said this. What do you think? Okay? What is so bothersome about it to you? That's what I need you to ask yourself, because it doesn't make sense to me. I have never seen anybody of a same-sex couple or somebody who has transitioned and I looked at them and said, that bothers me. Why? That's not me. Ask yourself that.